Tommy Kelly's brother Robert planted 150 acres of hardwood and softwood on the family farm in Battlestown, Ramsgrange, County Wexford. Robert had terminal cancer, and when he died, Tommy took over management of the wood until Robert's children came of age.
The majority of the deciduous trees were planted in 2000 to 2002, and he died in 2002. So yeah, there was a contract in place there with a subcontractor, an establishment grant, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
4 years, yeah. So
Yeah.
I sort of had to keep an eye on him because he wasn't that keen to well, I don't know. I think you can't leave these subcontractors up to their own devices. They get you to a certain stage and get the final payment, and that's it. You're on your own.
Yeah.
But we kept an eye on it here for 10, 15 years.
Tommy is a furniture maker, and when minding hardwoods, there is one simple rule to live by.
Shape early and often. Simple, really, yeah. Difficult, no, but time consuming. If you're interested in timber, yeah, I'm a furniture maker, so you're looking at the difference between a dead knot and a live knot. So a dead knot in a plank is useless. A live knot is difficult, but it's workable and it stays with the timber. Yeah, the dead knot falls out. So that's the problem. You have a hole in your furniture.
It would be many years before the trees were ready for harvesting, and an idea slowly took shape in Tommy's mind for another income source from the woods in the intervening years.
There was a couple of things going on. I had a couple of daughters who were interested in horse riding, so because I was coming up here spending a lot of time in the trees, my daughters were coming up, so they had a couple of ponies, so we were gathering around the trees and we put up a horse jump, and then we put up a second one, and then we put up a third one, and so forth. So it eventually ended up as a cross-country course for horses, and it was a commercial venture. It grew organically, but you would notice over time that you're going to areas in the forest that you wouldn't normally. I notice now, if I'm talking to people in forestry, there's areas they don't go to for 5-10 years. Even with deciduous trees, which is absolute jungle juice, like, you know. The Sitka spruce, fine. They don't need much help. I had no knowledge of building cross-country courses, so I was going to get it, if you know what I'm saying. Like, there's no point in me inventing it. Like, we were buying books on it, getting cross-country course designers, and I knew a few other people who were interested in that sort of thing, so they steered me through the project.
And what were some of those practicalities that you really, I mean, it's one thing laying out the course and for the horses and interesting jumps and all of that, but the other practicalities, like around, like a lot of farmers would be thinking straight away of insurance issues around it. How was that approached?
Insurance is not an issue. A lot of people have a misconception about insurance. The insurance I had was to protect me, not the person that came on the horse. The person that came on the horse, if it fell over a jump, that's their problem, that's their risk. They come with that risk. If I leave a rake on the wrong side of a jump and a horse lands on it and hurts its foot and tumbles, then I'm responsible, and that's what the insurance is for.
Right, yeah.
So the insurance wasn't at that time prohibitive. It wasn't an issue.
In the early days of developing the cross-country course, Tommy was also running his own business, grieving for his brother, and raising a young family, which helped him stay focused.
3 hungry kids, maybe. That's what I used to say to people when they'd say, well, you know, something didn't work, and I would say, you need 3 hungry children, and you'll become more focused on solving whatever issue you have. But it has to be a financial decision. I think I started doing the work as therapy to get over my brother's death, to be honest.
Okay.
So I just came up here and did loads of work. Not knowing whether it was going to work or not.
The cross-country course here at Battlestown is different to other courses, and that was a selling point from the start.
We ran a couple of events, hunter trial events, and that sort of put us on the map. And also I looked at the other cross-country courses, and found a lot of them were visually you could see the whole course when you landed in the yard, and perhaps the horse owners mightn't like me saying it, but a lot of people would come to this course and they could do what they like. There's nobody watching them. So you go off in the trees and you can jump the jump, or you can walk around the jump, or you can do whatever you like, you know. And it's the ambience of the forest. Like, I mean, a lot of cross-country courses are just a field with a series of jumps in it, you know. Now some of them are very good, and if you're buying a horse and you want to see the horse jump in each jump, it's good, and they have a gallery and they're looking out on it. But this is more for ambience, I think, you know.
Once the business was up and running, Tommy saw the popularity of mud runs for adults was on the rise, and he set aside a weekend where the horses were banned and the humans took on the hook and muck course.
We ran a mud run, for a couple of years. Hook and muck, we called it. It's still there in Cyberworld somewhere, if you want to look it up.
They became quite popular, those runs.
Yeah, well, it took a lot of manpower, and a lot of people volunteered to help, but I realised after a couple of years it probably wasn't going to be a financial... we hoped for the second year that we'd have 500, but we only had 350, I think, or something like that. So I sort of said, no, we'll let that go. We used the cross-country course as the course, if you know, just for the day. So you know, you can always double purpose something if you can find the right idea.
Yeah. And there must have been a good buzz around with that, Tommy, was there? I mean,
yeah, it was great excitement. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was good fun, but there's only so much fun my wife can put up with you.
The running and maintenance of the cross-country course complemented the management work Tommy was doing in the woods.
It's fine. It's not a big income earner, but what it did was it doubled with what I was doing with the trees. So I had to come up various times and do various things. So you're keeping an eye on the cross-country course and you're keeping an eye on the trees. So you're double jobbing, really. Yeah. In effect.
The woods at Battlestown have been thinned several times by now, and the premiums are finishing. Tommy has seen the price of wood shoot up in value, and he thinks forestry needs to be seriously considered by farmers looking towards the future.
The planting of crops and cows and beef and all that, they're an instant return, but they're not necessarily making a great margin. But I don't know the figures, so it's really down to maths, Chris. Like, are they going to make more out of the trees or they're not? And it's very difficult to measure that because the market changes. Like, the price of timber at the moment, like for a cubic foot of oak, a foot be a foot is €100 in American oak. Same price as walnut. I mean, it was half the price of walnut 3 years ago. For me, I'm listening to farmers talking about going barley every year and a small return, and they continue to do the same process. I find that difficult to understand. So I don't know. The trees, possibly an option. It's so hard to look into the future, but I would say the carbon credits have to be on the table. They have to be coming, like. If we as humans are going to do anything about our climate and the world we live in, you know. So I would be backing the carbon credits. I think they will come.